Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the Wii game, PokePark Wii, Pikachu's Adventure. This game is an action-adventure game released by Nintendo in July this year. PokePark Wii is a spin-off of the main Pokemon series, borrowing certain elements from popular RPGs. First, I want to go over this game's plot. Pikachu's Adventure is set in the PokePark, land threatened by the loss of pieces of the Sky Prism, which is endangering the native Pokemon. Pikachu must travel around the PokePark, finding these missing segments and reuniting the Sky Prism. This will bring peace to the land so all the Pokemon can roam freely around the PokePark. As I mentioned before, the objective of the game is to reunite the Sky Prism, and to do this you must take part in these attractions. And these attractions are basically mini games, and if you complete these games you will receive a piece of the Sky Prism. The mini-games range from games where you have to fly through hoops to rack up points, simple sprints to the finish line. I thought this variety helped keep the game fresh, and the attractions were definitely a highlight of the game, in my opinion. Now, to play these attractions you're going to want some Pokemon. Pikachu can take part in some of the attractions, but you want to build up a large collection of Pokemon to cover everything. There are 193 Pokemon in total for you to find, but instead of catching them like the RPGs, you make friends with them. To befriend them, Pikachu must beat them at a skill game, which could be a battle, a game of chase, or a game of hide and seek, among others. During battle, you can use a few different moves. You can simply dash into your opponent, or use Thunder Shock or Iron Tail. These moves, as well as your HP, can be upgraded by talking to Pokemon in the meeting place, the game's main hub. Also present there is Mystery Bus, who you can talk to save pictures you've taken during gameplay to an SD card. Unfortunately, for some reason the pictures were incompatible with my camera or SD card, so I couldn't test this feature out. However, I have a few gripes with the overall gameplay. Firstly, the only use for the Pokemon you befriend is while playing the attractions. Now, I know this is meant to be Pikachu's Adventure, but I would like to have seen some other ways of using the friends building. Also, this game isn't what you call hugely challenging. In fact, most of the attractions and skill games are ridiculously easy, save perhaps your final encounter with Mew. Guess that's not such a bad thing since I generally suck at games, but you should beat this game without too much trouble. My brother and I did it in around 12 hours, but if you take it seriously you could probably do it in 7. My last and biggest complaint with this game is the complete lack of multiplayer. Considering PokePark Wii is meant to be a family-oriented game, you would probably expect there to be some form of multiplayer, but no, the entire adventure can only be played by one player. Even if they had just made it possible for someone to join in during the attractions, that would have been something, but I think they missed a trick with this game. The graphics for PokePark Wii Pikachu's Adventure are overall great. Pokemon are charming and are well animated. The 9 zones you travel through during the game all look very good, though I think they could have been a little more creative with the areas designed to give them a little more character. Additionally, I came across a few invisible walls during my time exploring the levels, which was a bit annoying. The background music for this game varies from zone to zone, and the tunes seem to fit the setting very well. Sound effects are definitely a strong point of this game, as the wild Pokemon sound exactly like they should. Pikachu in particular sounds really cute, and lovers of the Pokemon anime will find the sights and sounds of this game very familiar. However, controls for PokePark are extremely awkward when explored, as you just use the D-pad to control movement. As this is a 3D game, it is often very hard to control Pikachu, and I'm puzzled as to why Nintendo didn't opt for a Wii remote and nunchuck configuration. Having said that, when playing the attractions, the controls were a bit better. The control scheme varies from attraction to attraction, with some using motion controls. Most of the setups are very intuitive and work effectively. This game has very little lasting appeal. Once you've beaten the game and befriended all the Pokemon, I'm not sure why you'd want to play through this game again. Unlike in the Pokemon RPG series, you don't really have a party as such, so you can't really expand with different teams. I guess you could try and beat your best scores at attractions, but I can't see that entertaining you for very long. Now, one of the key questions with this kind of game is, does it appeal to its target audience? From my experience playing it with my younger brother, I can confidently agree that it does. He found it to be a lot of fun, and the presence of Pikachu as the main character really appealed to him. Overall, I would say PokePark Wii Pikachu's Adventure is a real mixed bag. Though it can be a lot of fun, Nintendo made a lot of what I would call own goals, obvious errors that lowered my opinion of this game. If you're a fan of the Pokemon series and like Pikachu, I'd say you might want to give it a try, but otherwise, it's by no means a must-have. I would give this game 6 out of 10. Right guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I'll put up another video soon. Bye.